All right. Shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off by saying, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shad, Kol Haloyim La Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shad, Bahashem, Bachakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone and the like-minded brothers. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad, the Akim and the Akwat that's listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing that the lesson is edifying. It's the brother Shabab Mawan back at you with another listen. And going into that lesson, right? 2026, the year of the NWO in technology, right? And we're in the second day of the false new year, all right? And I got two little quick, I don't want to say articles, but I got one screenshot. All right. It says Business Insider. It says Elon Musk plans high volume production of Neuralink brain chips and says he wants to automate the surgical procedure. Okay. It says Elon Musk says he's planning to ramp up production of his Neuralink brain chips in 2026 and will automate the procedure to implant them into humans. Neuralink will start high-volume production of brain-computer interface devices this year, said Musk in Tuesday's X post. The startup, confounded by Musk in 2016, is developing technology that enables people to control computers using an implanted micro C-hip, you see? And this is why, I coined this year, definitely through the spirit, all right? 2026 year of the NWO and technology, man, because this thing is about to be rolled out, all right, at a very quick pace too, all right. They've been speaking about this for years now, you see, but now they're in the full effect of actually making this thing happen, all right. And this is all Bible prophecy, okay. Let's grab another one. It says Salakia. I got another one right here. It says, Elon Musk Neuralink planning mass rollout of brain C-hips. Okay. Neuralink, this is from End Time Headline. It says Neuralink says 2026 will be the year of human brain C-hips will be the year human brain C-hips go mainstream. Okay. And they've been gradually, preparing you for this technology for quite some time, speaking about it. All right. As the scripture says, the vision is yet for an appointed time. All right. Let's grab that actually. All right. And it says at the end it shall speak, and it's been speaking. That's how you know we've been at the end of this place for quite some time, man. Okay. Especially since 2020. All right. Things have been, these things have been spoken about on a heavy note since 2020. All right. Preparing you for what was to come. So this is Habakkuk 2:1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower and will watch to see what he will say unto me and what I shall answer when I am reproved. All right. So we are the watchmen that constantly stand upon the tower. Right. And what are we doing? We're watching what this devil's doing through the spirit. Okay. And then we come out here and make a plan upon the tables. You see, it says, and we'll watch to see what he will say unto me. Yeah, what Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah is going to say unto us through the spirit. Okay. And what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord Yahweh answered me, said, write the vision and make it plain upon the tables that he may run that readeth it. All right. And that's what we do. Excuse me. We run with the message. All right. A messenger, all right, is given the message, and then he goes and runs off that message to those that need to hear it. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. Okay. And the vision has been spoken about. Man, this vision has been spoken since the 1960s, since the late 1960s, all the way to now. All right. But now more than ever, you see, and that vision pretty soon is about to close. All right. And where there is no vision, the people perish. So people going to end up not having this oil. And when the time comes, they're going to be those 5 foolish virgins, okay, that have no oil in their lamps. And when that hour of temptation comes, all right, they're going to be lost. They're going to be, you know, confounded through the word, because a lot of these people also, all right, you got a lot of false prophets that don't even speak about, you know, this RFID. You know, you got people that are confusing people with the MOTB, telling you it's white women, telling you it's Christianity, you know, telling you that is an embargo, you know, all bunch of bullshit. All right, that clearly you could see what the MOTB is, man. How is it that these heathens know exactly what the MOTB is, but our people, all right, does not know what it is? Why? Because they're under strong delusion and they're under them heavy curses, and the Lord has them to the point where, you know, something so simple is made hard for them to see. You see? So it says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, all right? And that appointed time is right now, okay? But at the end it shall speak, and it is speaking, all right? We're speaking on it the most. We're the ones preparing everybody for the battle. It says, and it's a beautiful thing, because scriptures say, in whose hands is the men of souls, all right, which is Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. But in the spiritual sense, we are the ones, all right? This is Job, all right? Let me grab this. Ooh, excuse me. This is Job 12. Let's grab it from 12 and 10. It says, in whose hand is the soul of every living thing and the breath of all mankind. All right, and we know that that's Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. But see, at this moment, all right, we are as prophets the ones that have we're the ones that have the in our hands the soul of everything, living thing, man, and the breath of all mankind, because this is the breath of life. This knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is the breath of life. Okay, so we are the ones that have in our hands, all right, the souls of every man, every creature, every living thing on this earth right now, man, because the prophets know the knowledge of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. So in a spiritual sense, all right, like I said, we know that this is speaking of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, but in a spiritual sense, we are the ones that hold the breath of life, man. The knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to be able to make it plain upon the tables, because the Lord is using us as vessels. We're the ones that's holding salvation in our hands, man, by preaching his word and preaching salvation onto you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You see, it says, does not the ear try words and the mouth taste his meat? With the ancient is wisdom, and in length of days understanding. With him is wisdom and strength. He has counsel and understanding. And again, that's speaking of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. But see, we are those same ancient men, all right, through the spirit coming back as them prophets. All right, the spirit of the prophet is subject onto the prophets. You see? So let's go back to Habakkuk 2 and 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak. All right. So by us having the breath of life, all right, the Lord is dependent on us to bring back his souls, man, to bring back his elect. Okay, because he has trusted us with the gospel to make it plain upon the tables. And at the end it shall speak, all right, which we're doing, and not lie. Okay, why? Because there shall be no guile found in the elect's mouth. All right, let's grab that. This is Revelations, all right, 14 and 5. And it says, I'll take it up a little bit. It says, these are they, let's take it from 3. And they sung as it were a new song before the throne and before the 4 beasts and the elders, and no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. All right, so only the elect, all right, the 144,000, the first fruits of labor, all right, only they can sing the song of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. And it's not necessarily a new song, all right, it's just that the truth that's been so long without fruit is finally being declared. So to everybody's eyes, to everybody's ears, this is something new, you see. but we've always had this truth through the Spirit. All right. So it says, these are they which were not defiled with women, all right, meaning philosophies, for they are virgins, meaning pure. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto Yahweh and unto the Lamb. And in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. You see? So there's no guile in our mouths, man. All right, when it comes to speaking about this knowledge, because the words that are written in this book are faithful and true, as the scriptures say. So all these things that are written in the book are written for our learning, and all these things that are written in the book have to come to pass. All right. And we speak as the oracles of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, as the scriptures say, and we speak the spirit of prophecy. If any man come to you, right, and speak not according to this doctrine, according to this testimony, then then there is no light in them, you see, because they're not of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. You see, you're not building up the house of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. This is Psalms 127. And 1, except the Lord Yahweh build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Except the Lord Yahweh keep the city, the watchman waketh but in vain. All right. So it has to be, you know, this house has to be built upon that rock solid foundation of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, man. The Lord has to be the one to send you, all right, as a true prophet to speak, you know, all prophecy and rightly dividing the word of truth. Okay. And through the Spirit, we are rightly dividing the word of truth for you to understand it. Because if we weren't, all right, then we wouldn't be attacked the way we're being attacked. We wouldn't be having channels getting terminated. We wouldn't be going through a persecution, you see. But that's how you know that we have the truth, because the brothers that bring out this word through the Spirit, man, they are going through constant hell, and Esau's trying to get out of them on another level, you see. So going back to Habakkuk 2 and 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. All right, because the Lord is not a man that he shall lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it shall surely come. It will not tarry. So it might seem like it's not coming, right? But we have to wait patiently, because we're on the Lord's time, on the Lord's clock. Okay, but understanding that it will come as a thief in the night. All right. See, that's why it tarries, and that's why it feels like it's taking forever, because the Lord is supposed to come as a thief in the night. So you're not supposed to know in what hour the Lord comes. But if the good man will watch and watch the thief will come, right, then he will not suffer his house to be broken up. He will know what time the Lord is coming out. Why? Because we're constantly watching for the signs. The Lord said, measure the time diligently within itself. So we have to measure the signs that the Lord has given us. Okay. So continue. It says, behold, the soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. All right. And this is what that NWO is about, man. Keeping all people together into one world religion, one satanic religion, one satanic world. Okay. Everything is just one. Okay. So let's grab this. All right, let me make sure I finish that. Elon Musk's, right? Let me just finish that and I'll grab another precept. So it says Elon Musk's Neuralink. Oh, really? It's lucky. It says Elon Musk's Neuralink mass rollout is planning mass rollout of brain CHIPs. So it says It says Neuralink says 2026 will be the year human brain C-hips go mainstream. Elon Musk just dropped the jaw-dropping update. Neuralink is gearing up to mass produce brain computer implants by 2026, pushing the boundaries of human machine integration. All right, integration like never before. We are no doubt witnessing another instance of society being conditioned to accept something implanted into their heads in the name of medical breakthrough. All right. And see, this is why it's going to be a snare that comes upon the world. All right. Because see, they're thinking that they have all this time in the world, you know, 2029, 2030, agenda 2035. All right. See, this is 2026. All right. This is the second day of 2026. And this devil's already speaking about rolling this thing out. You see? And this is how you know that the men, all right, the top elders, all right, apostles of Great Millstone, all right, have been right all along. You see, all the way on down to the men that believe this truth and have followed in their steps. You see? So everything that we have spoken has come into the light. All right. And ultimately, everything that Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai has written is coming into the light. Okay, because we didn't find this out because of us. All right, we found this out because the Lord has chosen us out of the foundations of the earth to receive this knowledge. As the scripture says, surely I will do nothing but reveal my secrets unto the servants, the prophets. So if you are a true believer and you're serving the Lord, all right, he's going to bless you with the knowledge for you to be able to see these things, the eyesight to see these things, as opposed to if you're not believing. All right, you're going to be like these 2/3 that are asleep as hell. All right, don't even have a clue what the actual MOTB is. And it's going to come upon us. It's going to come upon them as a snare out of nowhere. You see? And when things hit you by surprise, people tend to panic and just do and go along with what is being brought out because they don't understand it. You see? So this is why knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy times. It's important to have the wisdom of the Lord, man, to be able to discern this thing. Okay. So let's go into, let me finish that actually. It says, we already have society warming up to implantable C-hips in the hand for convenience and security. Okay. And we know when the scriptures say, when there shall be peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon us. Okay. And they're going to make this as a convenient thing, as a safety issue, you see? So it says, the beast system is moving full speed ahead and most are oblivious, okay? So let's grab Revelations 13, all right, and 16, all right? And we know that in 14, it says that he deceiveth the nations, right? He deceiveth everybody on earth with the means of those miracles, meaning that technology. And this is why we're not ignorant to Satan's technology, to Satan's devices. All right. Scriptures say that there's many devices in a man's heart. All right. But nevertheless, the counsel of the Lord should stand. All right. So nothing is going to get in the way of prophecy. All right. Because it's not going to come back onto the Lord void. Okay. So it says, in the 14th chapter, it talks about, you know, them deceiving them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles, meaning the technology, right? In the 15th verse, it talks about that, you know, that the beast, the image of the beast should both speak, all right? And that image has been, you know, drilled in your mind over and over and over again of what they want and how they want their society, you see, with gradualism, all right? And then it says, and if none of them worship, right? And as many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So that's them speaking that exclusion from society. If you don't comply with their ways, well, then you're going to be excluded from society, right? And ultimately unalived. And it's really to get at the men of the Lord, because we are the ones that are contrary unto his ways. Okay. It says, and that no man might buy or sell, all right, save he that had the mark or the number of the beast or the number of his name. Okay. So what I really wanted to right? We know what the right hand is, right? It goes into the M-A-R-K, goes into charagma, all right, which means a stamp implanted, all right, to show, you know, who owns you, basically, okay? Just like the same way you sign off on a birth certificate for a child, which you really think that you own that child, but you really don't, all right? You're actually signing away, all right, the rights to your own child and showing that Esau owns your child, that he owns them, all right, by you, you know, signing off on that birth certificate, all right? By them taking, you know, they take your blood when you're born, and they take it and put it on a piece of paper. I forgot what it's called, that piece of paper where they take your blood sample. They put 5 marks, 5 fingerprints on there of blood. All right. But that's to show you that these devils own you. Okay. So charagma goes from that, all right, to what? Goes into karax, which means a stake, all right, because a stake is going to be used to put it into your body, you see, and that stake, it comes by the way of an injection, all right, and then it goes into what? Grapho, all right, which means to be able to collect data. Basically, you are used to collect data, to transfer data, you see, to be able to pinpoint your directions as like a GPS would, all right? But then it goes into foreheads. See, this word foreheads is going to that real quick. Forehead goes into metapon, all right? Meaning what? Behind the what? Behind the eyes. All right, what's behind your eyes is where your forehead is, man. Okay, your mind. So that ties back to this neural link. Okay. Salakia. I have to close it out and come back into it. All right, so you go into the word. So you got charagma, all right, a stamp imprinted or a mark, all right, basically as a badge of the followers of the anti-Hamashiach, all right, which is going to be a thing carved, all right, a graven work for an idolatrous image, which is going to be that digital Messiah, right? And then it goes into karax, which is a stake, all right, and then it goes into grapho, okay, which basically means to, you know, write and record things not to be forgotten, to give information, to give, you know, directions, all right? And then you go into that word, right, in Salakia, in the forehead, okay? The word forehead goes into metapon, the space between the eyes, the forehead, okay? Then it says, Salakia. Then metapon goes into meta, and this is what they want to connect you to, the metaverse, their metaverse, right? And it says with, after, behind. So the space between the eyes is the forehead, right? But what's behind the forehead? Okay, your mind. So by the way of Neuralink, they're trying to tap into your mind. See, this is how you know this is going to be actually a physical thing. Okay. And Strong's definition of meta goes into denoting accompaniment, right? And mid, modified variously according to the case. Yeah, they're going to modify the technology for us to come together, join to, as a matter of fact, it says right here, with which it is joined, you see? So they're going to use technology and man and join them together, you see? Occupying an intermediate position, okay? It says that he again against Salakia, hold on. It's going into a couple of different words. All right. Main word that I want to use is together. Again, you know, joining us together. It says often used in composition in substantially the same relations of participation, proximity, and transfer or sequence. Okay. So this all goes back to that metaverse. All right. And this all goes back ultimately to being linked to that neural link. Okay. And this ain't nothing but this devil trying to play the role of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, which I'll leave you with this and close it out. All right. This is 2 Thessalonians 2:4. And it says, and who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God. All right. And that is worship, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. All right. So, you know, how's he going to be able to sit in the temple? It's going to be through this technology, which is going to be made subdermal. All right. And now they're speaking more about the 6G advancement. All right. Donald Trump talking about how that 6G advancement is going to be tested in the skin. You see? So this devil is speaking. All right. That vision is speaking, and we're speaking it out onto the believers. All right. Because we're the watchmen that's hearing and waiting for what the Lord is going to do through the Spirit. Okay. And none of these things happen unless the said measure is fulfilled, as the scriptures say. So, hey, man, it's very well going to be a year 2026 of the NWO. All right. Going into technology, you see. And, you know, we're exposing this devil on a very high level. Okay. It says, remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things. That's right. And the Lord declared the end from the beginning. And now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. All right. And this devil's being revealed. He can no longer hide himself, as the Lord said. He has made Esau bare. Everything that was in secret is now coming into the light. All right. Because the Lord revealed his secrets unto the servants, the prophets. It says, for the mystery of iniquity does already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. You see? And the Lord is allowing him to do this just so he can show his power. I said his power. His power in Pharaoh, okay? Because he's the modern day Pharaoh, as the scriptures tell you in Romans, the 9th chapter, okay? Matter of fact, let me grab that real quick. All right, this is Romans 9:21, I believe. No, 17. For the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, even for the same purpose have I raised thee up. You see, the Lord raised them up, the bases of men. You see, he raised them up. He setteth up kings and he destroyeth kings. So he took the bases of men and set him up to rule the earth. All right. As the scriptures say, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Okay. It says, even for the same purpose, I have raised thee up, that I may show my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth. Therefore has he mercy on whom he has mercy, and whom he will hardeneth. You see? So, you know, there's showing you that there's no free will. The Lord is what controls everything, all right, through the Spirit. All right. So the Lord is exposing him, all right, and he is letting him raise himself up with pride just to destroy him. Okay. So let's go back to 2 Thessalonians 2 and 7. For the mystery of iniquity does already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. And then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord Yahweh shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan. All right. And Satan means what? Your adversary. Okay. With all powers and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness. All right. And this technology is going to be the number one deceitful thing that he's going to bring upon us. Right. It says, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. You see? So the Lord's going to send strong delusion on them, and they're going to believe in the lies that this devil's going to give to them. All right. And when the time comes, all right, that snare is going to take over. All right. And they're going to all fall for the snare and be destroyed. Okay. So, hey, man, this is 2026, year of the NWO and technology being rolled out. So, Lord willing, that the lesson was edifying. So, with that being said, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, call Haloyim La Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Chakwodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who do well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad, the Akim and the Akwat that was listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing, that the lesson was edifying. To the next one, Shalom. Keep fighting the good fight of faith, enduring as good soldiers of Yahweh Shah. Shalom.